could gaming be the next narrative for the industry? So all the newbies that come in inevitably when Bitcoin's at 40k, and all the newbies start aping in. Gaming's been around. We know it's been around for a while with Gala and the like. And I think it's going to be a huge narrative, Bud, because it brings people into the industry without them even knowing that they're using crypto.
It's fun. It's wild. It's Dad's Gone Crypto.
Welcome, Trevor, to the Dad's Gone Crypto show. We are basically discussing Myria. Did I get it right?
Myria? Yeah.
I always get these
Myria. Yeah.
Myria. All right, cool. We're discussing Myria, and is there a possibility for dads to get involved? Is there an opportunity? Well, this is what we're chatting about today, just to find out a bit more. And we've got Trevor from Nodefi. He runs, nodes and a whole bunch of nodes, and we're going to rack his brain a little bit and have a nice little dad's chat around the campfire, a little bit on the barbecue. Welcome, Trevor.
Thanks, guys. Good to be back. I've been following the show. You've had some great interviews, so very, very happy to be back and talk about Myria and whatever else we can talk about if we've got time.
Great.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, let's jump straight into it. Trev, can you tell us what is Myria and why is there a need for it?
So Myria is essentially it's the latest and greatest gaming platform within the crypto space. We've been following it, I think, for over a year now. We got in privately through the Coach Club raise, so it hit my radar, 12 months or so ago, and it was actually the first project I'd personally seen that did a private raise. Selling nodes and not tokens. So the deal was not for tokens, it was actually for nodes. And as you can imagine, my ears pricked up. I was all ears, right? I was like, yes, this is for me. Because we just essentially started Nodefi, and we'd secured World Mobile and a few other projects. So yeah, what is it? It's a web3 blockchain gaming platform. It's a layer 2 gaming platform built on essentially on Ethereum. If you've heard of Gala, I don't know if Gala Games rings a bell for anyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you know Gala, for me, I think Myria's potentially, it's up there. It's got the potential to be the next Gala, in my mind.
Wow, great.
Perfect. But tell me, what is the purpose of Myria? Why was there a need for it to basically be built and for nodes to run?
It's an interesting question, Sean. I think gaming is actually an appropriate narrative for this ecosystem and for crypto. I think it's if you look at when the last cycle really heated up, right? And I had my head buried in the sand, and everyone's like DeFi, DeFi's DeFi summer, right? And I kind of missed it. I was like, what? I completely missed that. But it was huge, right? So I think could gaming be the next narrative for the industry? So all the newbies that come in inevitably when Bitcoin's at 40k, and all the newbies start aping in. Gaming's been around. We know it's been around for a while with Gala and the like. And I think it's going to be a huge narrative, Bud, because it brings people into the industry without them even knowing that they're using crypto. They're playing games, right? So I think from that perspective, I think gaming is required, and I think Myria sees that. And the team is, it's an A class team. They're massive players in the gaming industry, the traditional Web2 gaming industry, and I think they see the opportunity and they're going after it. And that's just a personal opinion.
And tell me, with it being built on Ethereum, right? Does for noobs coming into the space, does that not raise alarm bells because they're scared of gas prices, especially during the bull run, things going a bit crazy? How have they mitigated that cost? Because you're busy playing a game, you're about to get your skin or you're about to get rewards, and you can't collect it or do anything with it because it's just too expensive to click out.
Yeah. Well, it's they're a layer two, built on Ethereum, but it's a layer two on Ethereum, and they're using something called ZK Starks. It's a sharding third party sort of network by Starknet. So they're building using Starknet, and I think zero gas fees. Like who wouldn't want zero gas fees, right? And that's essentially what they're presenting to the market. So it's a gaming platform, layer two, zero gas fees. So you don't even have to worry about Ethereum. But Ethereum is obviously, it is the OG in the space. And it's like the mothership, right? So all these layer twos that are being built, whether it's for gaming or whatever else, will all basically roll back up into the mothership. So I think, I don't think gas is going to be that much of an issue moving forward. We're probably just going to see a lot more layer twos coming out, and people are going to build infrastructure and products and dApps and everything on layer twos now, and just essentially roll up to the layer one chain, which is Ethereum. Hopefully that answered that question.
Yeah, and it's an easy onboarding process. I just used try to onboard onto Myria and bridged some tokens to use their wallet, and it's quite easy. So, do you know why they went for ZK Stark in particular?
I don't know. I've not read anything in particular as to why they've gone for ZK Stark, but I do know like they've got some pretty interesting advisors on the board for ZK Stark. Balaji, interestingly, is an advisor. There's an ex-Ethereum co-founders on there. The team itself is Israeli. The founders are from Israel, and let's be honest, no one takes security more seriously than the Israelis. They've got a fantastic reputation, and I think security is clearly one of the big narratives for Myria, right? Scaling and security. So I'd say it's essentially around scaling and security and privacy features. But man, Starknet, it's an interesting. I'm surprised we don't see a lot more of it. Like on crypto Twitter, you never hear about Starknet, right? But you go have a look at their website. They've got partners. Immutable X is a partner. Or a customer, essentially. So I need to dig into Starknet myself. I haven't done anything on it personally, but it looks like a fantastic team and project, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a lot of chatter about other ZK options, especially after the last Arbitrum airdrop, where people made a lot of money. And there's another ZK option to potentially get another airdrop that did well. So I think that might pull in a lot of interest to multiple ZK options like ZK Stark or whatever. I think it's quite interesting using ZK rollups for this type of stuff rather than creating a separate blockchain with sharding. This might be easier and more secure using that option. So Myria is open and permissionless, right? What does that actually mean for Web3 developers?
Well, essentially, they can develop without any restrictions, right? In a nutshell, they can deploy NFTs or collections or do whatever they need to do, and there's just absolutely no restrictions. It's almost like it's in my mind, it's like an open source platform, right? That's one way to look at it. And open source is the way. Look at Ubuntu as an operating system. It's open source. It's the biggest operating system in the world. Everyone thinks Windows is, but Ubuntu is everywhere. As an example. So I think if you want scalability, you want growth, you want to attract people in, you got to be open.
Right. So Myria claims that they're the backbone of blockchain gaming now. What are some of the problems that they're solving, and how are they really becoming that backbone?
Again, look, I can I speak to that? As far as I'm aware, it's gaming and blockchains. As I listened to that interview that you guys had with the founder of Prasaga, and he nailed it, right? Scalability and building on a blockchain is very, very difficult. It's challenging, and this is why we have this, ZK rollup and layer 2 narrative kicking off, and it has been for the last 6 months. Scalability is an issue on these layer 1s, and it's going to be for all of these layer 1s. Can someone solve it? Can they do it differently? I don't know. So, if Myria is doing a layer 2 on Ethereum and they claim to solve some of these scalability issues and allow growth with zero gas fees, I think that could be very good for them. But yeah, the backbone of the blockchain gaming industry, I think that's yet to be proven, in my opinion. It's still early days. Let's see. They're certainly looking at the team, looking at the fact that they've delivered what they said they were going to deliver on time. That's a plus for me in the crypto world, right? How many projects out there, they don't even launch on time, or they don't even launch at all, right? So I think we've got to just take it all with a pinch of salt and be realistic about the industry as well.
Yeah, for sure. So you think by looking at their team and what they're building, do you think they have a chance of leading this Game 5 run that's going to happen here? At least that's what we're all expecting to happen here in this cycle.
Honestly, I think they've got their work cut out for them. You're looking at Immutable. Immutable's massive, right? I don't know if you guys are aware of Immutable or have looked into them.
Yeah, I have a bag.
They're everywhere, right? Well, there you go. Immutable's massive, man. They're not one to be frowned against or frowned upon. You've got Gala, the first mover. They're already releasing another token, a new version of their token, and they're having another airdrop. So that's going to put a lot of eyeballs on Gala, but it's also going to put a lot of eyeballs on gaming, and that's what we want. I think you've got to look broader. Gaming is the next big narrative. So, will Myria be the next big thing? Certainly. I think they've got the team, they've got the funding, they've got the skills. It's, do they have the community? It looks like it. If they've sold 6,000 nodes already at 4,000 a pop, that's that's quite a bit of support.
Right.
So, I think they could be up there for sure.
With regards to understanding how Myria integrates into a game. So if I've traditionally created a game, let's say a racing car game or a cricket game or something like that, do I then approach Myria and say, listen, how do I now cryptify it and allow rewards and incentives for our community? Let's say the racing game is now traditionally you would go the ranking scores, and you would race against people. You would get points. Points will give you perhaps tokens. Tokens might give you access to their skins. Is this something which they take and you integrate it into an already established game that has taken years of development? Is that what Myria is?
It's a good question, but my understanding is it's building on or in the Myria ecosystem from scratch. So you're using their tools, their SDKs, software development kits, their studio, and you're building from scratch. Whether there's integration, there could be some talk of that. I'm not privy to that information, and if it's out there, I apologize. I haven't got into that bit of the ecosystem yet, but my understanding is, and you look at a lot of these games, I think there's 150 of them in the pipeline, all being built or have already been built that are yet to be released, which is pretty massive, eh? That's a lot of games.
Yeah, wow, really? I didn't know that. 150 games in the pipeline there. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's huge. It's just, for me,
some of the titles,
they've got to be good games, though. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I think Sean will like the cricket one in there, being a Sapphire. I'm assuming you love your cricket.
Yeah.
But that's a cool game.
Interesting games.
That like cricket, Carnage, I think could work.
Metaverse, minimal figures, planet. There's some. Well, the images look good, but it would have been quite cool if we could just have little intros into it.
Do you see what they're doing though? They've found highly addictive games, and they're just replicating them. Like Mario Kart was a highly addictive game, right? And I think so. Who's their target audience? And I don't know this, but speculation. It's a young crowd with mobile phones, maybe. Highly addictive games on mobile phones. That's what they're going for, right?
Yeah, I think you touch a good point with them needing to be good games. I think last cycle, a lot of projects tried the gamify approach and play to earn a lot, and not a lot of them were able to nail it down. Just if the game is good and the rewards are good, that attracts the players, and you need a broad player base, etc. And you can have great rewards in tokens, but if the game is shit, you won't attract a lot of players. And I think
I couldn't agree more.
very good games, and if they would be like on par with other games that don't offer play to earn or any other gamified features or something, I think that might be the game changer for people to hop over, or even allowing them to actually own their own in-game assets as NFTs. I think that's great too. But if the game is shit, there's no value. But if the games are great, it's exceedingly better than traditional markets. Yeah.
Right. I think, if you're dealing with the youth market, right, the quality of games that have come out now are just so superior. And to them to go play Mario Kart, where we grew up in, which was so super cool, super fun, super addictive, it's hard. And even to incentivize them for a few tokens, I don't think they're in that space. So I think Mike's right that the quality of games has to be really good if they want to tackle the biggest audience with the most disposable cash, because every kid has direct access to their parents' wallets. So it's like, Mom, please, my birthday, or Mom, please, can I get it early? I'll wash the car. So with adults, we can still kind of like, unless it's beer, it's another story.
Michael looks terrified up there. He's got 4 kids.
Access to my
He's thinking about where all of his credit cards are.
Michael's newborn's first word is going to be ledger. So I think with these older games, if they're trying to maybe attract the older crowd, the only way I'm going to go play games if there's a monetary incentive value, because in my downtime I can kind of switch off, make some money on the sideline. Might not be much, but over time, that could be it. But it's no way to grow the ecosystem with bullies like us. They have to tap into the biggest audience with the most disposable.
With the youngsters.
So having said that,
you would hope they've got the research team, dude, because they've got a pretty massive team. They've got big wallets, big budget. These guys have been in the space for a while. So I think, again, I don't know, it's all speculation, but maybe the first round of games is literally that, to just get the older people that are into crypto, that have some capital, that those games resonate with them, right? Mario Kart and all the like. So get them in on your phone, get a little bit addicted, and then the next round of games could be better. Because the question is then, are these gaming platforms in crypto ready? Why hasn't anyone produced like a fantastic RPG shoot 'em up game, or a high quality, high res game? Because it's probably not possible yet. They've got to solve a whole lot of problems to be able to do that, right? I'm not a gamer in the crypto space. They don't interest me. I'll be honest. I'm too busy, number one. And number two, the only game I really loved was like Call of Duty. I've got absolutely hooked on that. And I just won't play anything else. If I ever get a PlayStation out, it's going to be Call of Duty or something similar. You can't do that in a blockchain game. It's not going to happen. So...
Post
your
tag in the comments to play with Trevor.
That's right.
Yes, if you want to play with Trevor, please put a tag in the comments. And Tom from Devio, if you're listening, we love your game. We play it.
Yeah, I think there are some
every rule, Trevor.
There are some RPGs coming out, but they're still in development. Like everything's still in development right now, and I think you're right. I think it's just because it's so hard to do on the blockchain. But I'm hopeful that this coming cycle we're going to see a lot of those start launching.
Yeah. Bring some. Well, we got to bring liquidity in as well, right? That's the key, so that they can build these games. But let's see how it goes.
Yeah. So tell me, Trev, why nodes? All right, you fast becoming the expert in the space. I'm still learning about nodes and how they operate and all the sophistications behind it. But why Myria Node, and what is the purpose of it, and why do we need another? Why doesn't the company just spin up a couple of servers on AWS or all across the world and run their own decentralized validators, or per se?
Well, then it wouldn't be decentralized, would it? that would be centralized. And that's the key, right? If you want a truly decentralized ecosystem, you've got to sell those nodes to the public and let them run it for you. And it is quite smart, man, because you can build a network off the back of investors or node runners. They run the infrastructure, they maintain it, they do everything else. They're incentivized for it. But if they do it well, like Pocket did, they could grow a massive network, which means lower latencies, better security, and everything else. And they don't have to spend the money to do that. So it's quite smart, right? But if they get the tokenomics right and the gaming right, those that get in are highly incentivized. And again, I refer back to Gala, right? It's a proven model that works. And those node runners that got in, oh my God, I've heard some stories. And I'm like, fuck, how did I miss that one? Guys were printing $1,000 a day at one point. Crazy money.
Sure.
But yeah, to answer your question, Bud, so the nodes essentially is a device that validates the transactions on the Myria blockchain. And it's needed to ensure the security and decentralization of the network ultimately, to answer the specific question. Like any crypto project, it validates transactions.
And a transaction being, for example, let's say I'm collecting a new skin because I've just earned it. It now says that my wallet now owns this. The node will validate that this is correct and there's no theft or shenanigans happening in the background. Is that correct?
Yep. It's all on the blockchain. It's all immutable for everyone to see.
Okay.
Wow.
Excellent.
And could you explain the relation of data oracles or redundant storage, governance, how that relates to holding nodes?
Yeah. So there's different modules, right? Like, so I guess you could look at World Mobile, right? They've got different nodes that do different things. They serve at different, various purposes. So the Myria nodes will have a few roles. So they'll be validators, validating transactions, but they could also be storage, right? So each Myria node requires 100 gigabyte of storage right now. So we'll actually there'll be decentralized storage of all the data. And that'll be a module that they potentially add on down the track, right? So, and a node runner that provides storage will be incentivized for providing storage to the network. So that's an interesting one because, there's obviously crypto storage projects out there. That some projects would go and use File, or is it Filecoin? There's a couple of others, I forget off the top of my head. But they'll go use someone like Filecoin for their storage. But it looks like Myria is doing that themselves with their existing node runners. So they're going to do that all in-house, essentially. In-house, but decentralized. Does that answer the question?
Oh, yeah, that's interesting because it would save on like third-party services, such as Filecoin, and I think Filecoin did extremely well, didn't they? Or did they come down already?
They did.
Yeah, well, they did really well.
It was a large, like private round, I believe, with a lot of VCs in there.
Yeah.
But it's if they do it themselves, I think it would be better for their cost basis, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. If you've got the ability to do it, then do it. And World Mobile is kind of talking about similar stuff. And I know I'm mentioning projects that we've covered before, little World Mobile plug. But they're going to be adding things. I mean, Mickey's talked about it, right? They're going to be adding different things into their ecosystem, different modules. So if you can do it yourself, I think. I totally see, like, providing storage, decentralized storage for the games and everything else, it makes a lot of sense. Why farm it out? You just got more risk because you've got to integrate, and there's more attack vector, there's more surface area for an attack vector as well, right?
Right. So from a business opportunity point of view, what does it actually mean to own a Myria node?
Well, again, I hate to say it, it's a plug for Gala. You can truly get a passive income if you time this right, and it does do anything like Gala did in the bull run. You could be producing $1,000 a day, $1,000 worth of tokens a day. That's the reality. Will we get there? I don't know. I mean, I can't really speculate on price because the channel's for entertainment purposes. But
exactly,
I fully expect this to be doing a few $100s a day quite easily. if you look at the rewards at the moment, anything from 1,600 to 2,000 tokens a day. What can price do? Goes up to, I don't know, 10, 15 cents. That's healthy revenue.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess, I mean, that is the main incentive to own the node then, correct? Basically the token rewards, or is there anything else there that you know of?
Well, yeah, so there will be other incentives. So obviously, and I don't think we touched on this actually, is governance. So you'll have voting rights as a node operator.
Oh, okay.
So that's quite important, right? So you'll be able to vote
for sure.
for changes and everything else. If they run it like a DAO and they put proposals out there and they let the node community essentially vote on that's huge. There's going to be airdrops, NFTs, all these free things that will be dropped to node operators or node runners. So yeah, I don't.
Okay.
Those are just examples. There's obviously more that has been discussed, but that's what I recall or I'm aware of.
Wow, cool.
So and you're in the obviously in the node running business, and you run nodes for people. And if there would be incentives like NFT drops, how would you how do you handle that type of stuff with people that like own fractionalized nodes with Nodefi?
Yeah, good question. And that's come up before in the community, and it's quite simple, right? We'll have our own little DAO sort of situation. We'll put it to the vote, and do we sell it? When do we sell it? What do we do with it? But effectively, we'd sell the NFT, or we'd hold it, right, until it holds value or has more value. Because if the NFTs, by holding them, give you access to more rights, then you want to hold them, right? But we'll put it to a vote and make it a little bit fun. We could also run competitions within our community and issue free NFTs as a gift to someone that's done something. He's brought some new investors in, or we just run a lottery. There's so many different things we could do. We can have fun with it, but everything that comes in goes back to the community. It's difficult because it's fractionally owned, but it'll all go back to the community in some way. Like I said, either we sell it or we give it away or whatever we need to do with it. More than likely sell it, right? And then distribute the rewards from selling it. Because let's be honest, that's what people want, right? They want a return.
Yeah. No pretty pictures.
Hey, I just screenshot or screen print a pretty picture and stick it on my profile, man. Didn't Elon Musk do that with like a punk?
Mm-hmm.
Did he? Was it Elon?
I think somebody
did it with a Bored Ape.
I do remember that. I remember it. But...
Yeah. So I jumped questions a little bit for the how you would do the rewards there. Could you give some insight on what the Myria nodes cost right now and how Nodefi plays into that with people wanting to get into the nodes?
So the USD price for the nodes right now is about $4,500. So if you were going to join our fractionalized pool, a minimum of $500 investment. And then as soon as we've got enough, as soon as we've raised $4,500, we will then go and buy the node and add it into our tranche and then update the total ownership of the pool. But we also do fully managed, right? There's a bunch of people. I've just landed a customer this week. He's got 24 nodes, Myria nodes, and he wants someone to run them. So someone within our community, an existing community member, referred him to us. We had a chat. He's well connected in the space, actually, so it's going to be a really good relationship for us to foster. But yes, he's already talking about referring a bunch of people into our pool, but we're going to be running his fully managed. And the price to run fully managed in the pool is exactly the same. So we charge a fixed fee essentially for the hardware every month, and then we take a small percentage of the rewards every month.
All right, and why is it important for you guys to grow the amount of nodes that you run, or to have at least a decent amount under your community's control?
Well, again, this is my personal belief based on other projects that have done this, other similar pools that have done this. They've grown their community to a point where it snowballs, and those people within the community that got in early enough essentially are able to compound their investment. So if, for example, we can add a node every month and every investor in our pool is reinvesting their rewards to compound, you know what that means, right? Compounding is the secret in any investment, especially early on. So I think if we could, it's bold, but if we could grow to become the biggest Myria pool in the industry, and get to a point where we can add a Myria node every month, I'd be very, very happy. And hopefully our community would want to scale and reinvest and compound with us. So that's the biggest thing for me, is compounding at the end of the day. An individual investor, unless you've got 24 to 50 nodes yourself, which is a huge amount of money, it's going to be very difficult for you to compound in Myria. How do you do that when it's $4,500 per node, and that's going up with every batch, right?
Right.
Trev, so let's say I don't have $4,500, right, and I want to get involved as a fractional owner of a Myria node, right? What is the minimum requirements for me to get involved? Is there a fee? Is there, like, what's the journey?
Essentially, when you join our Telegram, and you want to, or our website, and you want to sign up and you want to invest, we require a minimum of 500 USDC. You fill out a form, send the funds to a wallet, and then, as I said earlier, as soon as that wallet's got the 4,500 required for a node, then we will lock in those funds and lock in the node at least and add it to our pool. And then we'll start another tranche, right? And say, okay, guys, we've got another tranche open. We're accepting more funds. And as soon as we get to the next 4,500, we'll lock in another node and go. So it'll be run like a tranche, essentially. And I think 500 minimum investment is fair. There's no limit.
That's really
There's
nice,
no cap.
actually.
You can put in whatever you want. If you've got 2,500 or 3,500, and you wanted to come in the pool for whatever reason, we'd happily take it.
Oh, that's really great. Cool, because it allows people to dip their fingers into it. Some people are scared of buying tokens or scared of buying shit coins and that. So at least maybe it's another opportunity to say, hey, let someone else manage it. Let's see how this goes. Maybe I strike it lucky. If you take laws of average, if you had to get involved in, say, 10 different nodes, each of them $500, perhaps one of them might be that gala. You don't know. So I suppose it's a different opportunity.
Yeah, exactly right, bud. Exactly right. And that's, when we founded Nodefi, the whole vision, or big core part of our vision, was to attract the smaller investor, the investor that cannot afford, number one, to run a node, or they don't have the skill set and the time, etc. But in many cases, you can't afford it, man. And we are truly, I said this to the team the other day, right? We get people coming in and investing $500 now into, whether it's Myria or, there's a different minimum to something like Supra, right? But let's just say Myria as an example. Someone comes in with $500 into Myria today, that 10x's or 50x's in the bull run. All of a sudden, that guy that's come in and invested $500 with Nodefi, he's going to be happy to invest more money with another deal down the road, but he's going to have 50 grand to invest, and he's going to be loyal to us because we've essentially made him a shitload of money. So it's all, right. For me, it's about building a really strong, loyal community, and that involves trust, right? We've got to deliver, and we're very, very early on our journey. Like Myria is actually the first new private round project that's launched. It's the first of many in our pipeline. So I'm really excited to see how this one goes.
Yeah. So on that note, how does the distribution work? Somebody comes in, they pay $500 to get in. How does the distribution back to them work? And what does Nodefi, like, what's your cut of that? What do you get for running the nodes and running the distribution pool?
Yeah, sure. So how it works today, we'll distribute monthly as it stands today because of the effort involved and the current price. But if it's producing $500 to $1,000 a day, we'll change that and do it weekly. So we'll adjust that, right, depending on the price of the token and the amount of rewards. So that was the distribution side. What was the other part of the question?
So
percentage of,
the distribution, but also like what are you charging basically?
it's a
Like
charge,
how
that's
does
right.
Nodefi make money on this?
So we charge a fixed fee for each node of $12 per month, and that's fixed. So we'll take that.
Okay.
We'll sell the equivalent of Myria tokens for a set price of $12 per month per node. So that's the fixed cost. So no matter what happens, and that's again, we're protecting ourselves, right? No matter what happens with the token, if it goes underwater, we still have to cover our absolute bare minimum costs of $12, and that's just for the hardware. That's not really for time. And then we take 7.5% of rewards for our time and for managing the project, essentially.
Sure.
And we feel like that's
Okay.
a fair balance, right? I mean, you can do a private round. People do private round raises and take 10%. We're running nodes and spending a lot of time keeping infrastructure up and distributing funds and insurance and all the rest of it. And 7.5% is probably fair, I think.
Absolutely. I think that's a really fair amount there. So God forbid something happens to the team or the basically any of you guys, what are your contingency plans? How do you handle that? Can people get their investment back? What happens?
Look, ultimately the team is distributed, right? So for something to happen to every one of us would be, I mean, it depends what you're talking about. So like a rug type situation, I mean, that's just at the end of the day, that's a trust issue, right? But if something was to happen to any one of the founders, we are distributed across, geographically. So they'll always, you would hope, unless there's a major catastrophic event, there will always be a founder available. So we have multi-sigs. So there'll be two people in the team to be able to distribute funds. And it's a great question. And to be honest, like right now, that is not a major issue for us because we're so early in our journey. But I'm already talking to people in the industry, as an example, talking to a company called Coin Cover for insurance, and they can actually provide insurance for us running our nodes and also for the wallets in a situation where we hold the funds, right? And the funds are sitting in a wallet. We can actually get insurance for that wallet so that if anything was to happen, those funds are protected. But we don't have that in place yet because the projects are so new. We're talking to them about Supra, actually, because they're very interested in partnering up with us for Supra. So we will have, it's kind of a chicken and egg, right? It's not a problem for us now, but as we grow and as funds start to come in and we've got a healthy treasury and obviously an increased treasury, we have a much bigger risk. But we've just got to basically address those risks as they come along, really. So there's a plan, but for right now, it's not a major concern.
Are you guys a registered company, Trev?
Yep. Yeah, we're registered in
Okay.
British Virgin Islands. So yeah, it's all above board and legitimate.
Okay, so it's not just giving some random stray in Australia some crypto and saying, "Make me money."
No, and that's the thing, right? It's like I'm glad you're asking these questions, right? Because people that are coming into crypto new, or people that are already into crypto, they're like, "Oh, here we go. Who are these guys?" Number one, we're all doxed. You can go to LinkedIn and find us. We've had long careers in the space in Web2. So yeah, there's very little chance of us intentionally running away with anyone's funds, right? That would be it's like suicide. Why would you do that? It's just stupid. So unless there was an event that's out of our control, we've just got to try and mitigate those risks. Sorry, I'm wobbling my camera. We've just got to try and mitigate those risks, right? As we go. So yeah, crypto, dude, it's all about trust at the end of the day. So I'm even toying with the idea of maybe evolving Nodefi into some sort of DAO. Like maybe that could be a good way to go, right? To help mitigate some of these risks, but also to give community more ownership, right? So I don't want to go into too much detail, but that the other projects that we're running, the plan is to issue NFTs for their portion of the investment into the asset, what we call an asset, like a Nodefi asset, because we ultimately own the validators, right? So we've had investors come in and invest into Nodefi, how do we issue their share into that piece of the asset? And we want to do that via a form of an NFT. And that gives us a whole lot of exciting things that you can do with that, right? You can have a platform or a portal where you can log in with your NFT wallet, get access to dashboards, reporting. You can do OTC deals inside you can have a little chat room. You can do all sorts, right? And again, these are just ideas and things we want to do. They're on the roadmap, but all these ideas take capital. So it's what are the priorities, right? So as much as I want to do all these things, we've just got to also keep it simple and just focus on what's important right now. And that's, running the nodes, making sure we're making money, paying the bills, and keeping the lights on. Really, that's the key at this stage as a relatively new operation.
Right. Are you running? I'm sorry, Sean. Are you running nodes? Is it personal servers, or are you on like AWS or something like that? Where are you running from?
We've got cloud providers, essentially in America, Europe, and Australia. We will have a mixture of our own service as well in the stack, because I think that's just a healthy thing to do. And as we grow, we will grow that stack more. But again, it's just about timing, right? So right now we use all sort of tier one infrastructure, cloud service providers, providing both VPS and bare metal. Our preference is bare metal, so physical service.
Yeah, fantastic. So that's super decentralized rather than just having everything under one roof. Something could
absolutely,
happen.
Absolutely. No, all decentralized. Right. And here's the other thing. I'm glad you said that, Bud. We choose to avoid the likes of AWS and the bigger players, because in my mind, that then is not decentralized, if you get me. So if 40-50% of crypto projects are all running on AWS, and AWS decides, we don't like crypto anymore.
Exactly.
What then?
Yeah, right. Well, that's
great. That's another angle for Nodefi. That's our value prop. Is we don't run on those big providers. We choose intentionally smaller. I say these are still significant operations, like multi-million-dollar operations, but they're not global behemoths, right? That can be swayed by politicians, essentially.
Right.
I'm glad you touched on the NFT section a little bit just now, because I was wondering about liquidity. So, for instance, if I would put in $1,000 into the node pool and I would want to liquidate that or extract money, how do you handle that right now? And I think NFTs would solve a great deal of that. But how would you handle liquidity for that right now?
Yeah, look, so what we try to do is Nodefi always has a treasury node. So we'll always have an amount of capital that we can cover effectively. So we can buy investors out with our equity or our fund or our treasury. So if you run a project and you have one or two treasury nodes, and that treasury node is producing tokens for the Nodefi treasury, that gives us a war chest to be able to do things with it. So that's how we operate effectively. If I like to go in with every project, if we do a raise, the idea is during that raise is to secure at least one founders or treasury node for Nodefi effectively. So that we'll do the same thing with Myria. We'd want to have a treasury node for Myria, for Nodefi, sorry.
Sure. That's great, actually. Otherwise, if one dude buys a portion of a node, just a small portion, and wants to liquidate it, you have to sell the node. Then it would drop down the rewards for all the people in the pool. Okay, that's great. Yeah, that's great for liquidity. Yeah.
So when people come in, are they signing some kind of an agreement to stay on board for a minimum amount of time, or how are you handling that?
We don't really have that, no, at the moment. You can, with previous projects that we've run, there's like a 21-day unstaking. So we'll probably stick to that and just say, look, there's 21 days. As soon as you unstake or you want to get out, it's a 21-day unstaking, and then you don't earn rewards for those 21 days. So you've got to wait 21 days to get your funds, but you're not earning in those 21 days. And that's pretty standard across some of the projects. And again, that's that's actually come from a mechanism within a project. So when you unstake, it actually does take 21 days to release your funds, but it works quite well because people think twice about unstaking. They take it a little bit more seriously, right? But our hope is that people, if you get in early with these projects and you get in with the right one, you're not going to want to unstake because price is going to go the right way and you're going to be making quite a bit of money. And at some point in the future, I could see people maybe saying, "I've made a bunch of money. I'm out." Then going back to the NFT, Mike, if we issued NFTs on Myria, people could sell those They could sell their percentage or their NFT, to someone else within the community as an OTC deal, essentially. So that's quite a nice feature to have an NFT on a project, right?
Yeah.
You can do a whole lot with them. But right now we don't have NFTs for Myria. It's just a fractionalized pool. We may issue them at some point down the track as the pool grows, but right now there's none.
All right, a bit of a tough question before we go to the dad section, the dad's got jokes section. This is a hard one to answer probably, but the market's pretty shitty right now and nobody has a crystal ball where it's going. For instance, if I wanted to go into the node, would this be a good time to get in? Would you go for tokens? Would you wait it out? Would you buy a node? From your personal point of view.
Remember that trade I told you about that I'm underwater with? So at one point I was going to roll the profits, a lot of those profits into a node, because I want more. I want more Myria. I want a bigger piece of the pie, right? So personally, I've got a little bit of FOMO, and I want to get more Myria nodes. If you were to buy right now, one smart strategy might be to accumulate the tokens at these prices, and then wait for price recovery, right? See what the market does, because if you buy them now and you double your money, essentially. As I don't know if we've talked about this yet on recording, but the nodes are pegged to the USD price, right? So it's $4,500 no matter what the token does. So token price goes down, the amount of tokens required to secure the node just goes up. So I think we're at 1.2 million tokens right now, whereas a few weeks ago that was below 1 million. So in my mind, I'm like, cool, okay, buy some tokens now and then wait for the amount of tokens required to decrease as the price goes up, and then you've saved money. You've got it for cheaper. I know there's a few guys doing that at the moment.
But at the same time, the cost of the nodes going up with each new block of nodes, right?
Yeah.
You got a risk there too that maybe the cost of the node's going to go up much higher as well. So
we looked at that earlier, and it doesn't look like. I'm surprised at the increase is marginal at this point. I don't think it's anything to be too concerned about the way I read it. But maybe we can drop a link in the show to the Myria support page, and people can go and have a look at that. That's probably not a bad idea. But yeah, man, I would be accumulating tokens right now to see what it does. I just don't know what it's going to do, man. Like, it does seem to be. I thought it found a bottom and then dumped even lower. Private price was 0.002, I believe. Some seed investment was 0.002. Does anyone have information on that?
No.
I'm not 100% sure. No.
Yeah, I think someone said in a group it's 0.002. So, is that the bottom? It's hard to know, man. It's hard to know what anything's going to do in this market. But right now, at these prices, it is above water. It's printing $5 to $8 to $10 a day, right? That's pretty good for a node project, especially one that's just starting out.
Right.
So in a bear market.
Yeah, man. Like, that's good. That's really, really good.
Yeah, something making money in this market is fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so dads out there, if you're listening up, there's two basically opportunities that if you want to get involved is, first of all, if you just want to just put some money in, head on to Notify. We'll send a link in the description, and then we'll pin it, and you can basically go to Notify and start the process there. Alternatively, another strategy is, getting some tokens now, sitting on it, waiting for that market to recover. You would have more value in those tokens, and then go on to Notify and stake a portion or buy your own Myria Node and reap those rewards. It is pretty easy to set up a Myria Node, more difficult with other nodes. But at the end of the day is you've got to worry about, so many things. Make sure your laptop's up. Make sure in South Africa, we've got electricity. Make sure it doesn't get stolen. There's so many things that you don't really want to stress about, right? So it's like, for me, I'll just give it to someone that's the risks are a lot less than if you had to run it. Yeah, I've got space. I've now got solar, thank goodness. But still, there's a lot of more risk. So yeah, there's two opportunities, but we'll send you a link in the description below.
I forget
But now,
about all
guys,
those issues in South Africa,
okay.
Like getting stolen and fucking hell, like
Tigers, lack of electricity, roaming the streets. Yeah, it's just another day.
Hey,
An elephant might step on your laptop.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, just quickly on that, you've just reminded me, bud. So just as an example, so I said we charging what, $12 per node, right? On Myria's official documentation, where they've given an example for people to run nodes, they've put Vulture there. Vulture's a cloud VPS provider, right? You go have a look at the spec that you need. You're paying anywhere from $25 to $40 a month for one node. We're charging 12. Like, it's very, very reasonable. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, you can run this thing at home. Of course you can. It's easy to do, but it may be easy to spin up, but you've got to keep the thing up to date. So you've got to be on the ball, man. You've got to be watching Telegram or whatever else and keeping the thing up to date. And if there are upgrades, you've got to upgrade it. And if there are issues, that's the key. If there's issues down the track after an upgrade and you don't know Ubuntu, and you're running this thing on Ubuntu, Windows not so much, you're going to have to troubleshoot that thing, right? So it's I mean, if it takes a day to cover your running costs, which is $12 or $24, it's a no-brainer in my mind, right? Or in this case, it's taking 3 days and the rest is profit, right? That's not that bad. And then one last thing, if I don't say this, Lee's going to be upset with me. So I need to plug another product of ours, right? Something that we've been building in the background. It's our Chains as a Service offering, and we've kicked some really good goals in that space just of late. We've landed a pretty large customer in my mind, like an OG in the space. And we're running Chains as a service for this project. And we run it for a few other developers and smaller players. But essentially, these are Ethereum, Matic, Binance, AVAX, Arbitrum, whatever chain a project or a company wants access to. They get access via what's called a remote procedure call. And we just provide fully managed, shared and dedicated chains as a service. It's not a new thing. There's plenty of providers out there doing it, but where we having some traction, and it's quite an interesting model, is actually white labeling our chains to bigger entities that want to provide a secure, decentralized RPC network. They can't do it themselves, right? They can't build this thing out internally themselves and use Google and everything else. They want to decentralize their stack. So we come along and, hey, come to Notify and we'll provide you a percentage of your network at a fixed rate. And the beauty of this is we don't give a fuck about the market. Bear or bull market, it doesn't matter, because we're getting paid in USD. And it's a really good supplemental income right now, but it's actually potentially going to grow into a bit of a beast of a business. So it's something again, links in in Telegram or go to our website, hit up our team if there's any developers out there. And you found us here on Dad's Gone Crypto, we'll give you a discount. It's a business, a very exciting side of the business that we're trying to grow at the moment. And I just had to put that out there because Lee and I had a discussion last week and agreed that we're going to focus our marketing efforts on chains as a service. And I'm like, yeah, no, I want to focus on Myria. So yeah, anyway.
Can you tell us who that big client is?
I cannot. We've signed an NDA, bud. I cannot. We've signed an NDA. You will have heard of them.
Just
absolutely.
This is the trust circle. No, we won't put you in that position.
No, it's great. It's good. It's good for us, and for someone like Nodefi to land these guys is it's humbling and it's a fantastic opportunity for us. So we're very excited.
Yeah,
That's great. Congrats.
congrats.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. All right, on that note, time of day, Dad's got jokes. Trevor, I hope you are going to top your last joke. It was trending on TikTok.
Yeah, I don't know. That's got to be one of the best jokes that's ever been told on the show. So
Oh, really?
I don't know how
No,
you're gonna top
Jesus,
it, but
no,
we'll see.
no pressure. Fuck. I think I've got a
All
good
right,
one.
cool. For those of you who don't, okay. All right. So how the joke works is that the dads each will have a turn to go. Mike, you'll be up first. Then we're going to go Trevor. Then we're going to go Ryan. Then I'll finish off last. So the idea is you're going to tell a joke. Try to keep a straight face. If it's really laughable, all right, you have to down a beer or a case of wine, either or, and then of course. We'll vote on who's the best joke, and then everybody else drinks again, finishes up the rest of their beverage or water, whatever you're drinking. All right. So, and here we go. Michael, you
Are you ready?
up.
All right.
Wait, stop. Okay.
You know I'm Dutch, right? So our neighboring country is Germany. So this German guy is visiting the US on vacation, and one night he goes to the local bar, has a few drinks, and on his way back to the hotel, he realizes he needs to take a leak. So he goes behind a light post. Right as he starts to relieve himself, a woman walks by, and he says, "Oh, gross." He looks down and he says, "Ja, danke." I got you this time.
That was a good one.
Oh, shit. That was a good one. All right. Okay. Shoo. You got your hands full there, Trev. No pun intended.
Which one? Okay. What does Beethoven do in his grave? He decomposes. Not as good as the
I
last one.
like that one.
It's all about the
Someone's
execution, eh?
Someone's going to pay you a visit tonight in your sleep. All right, Ryan, you're up.
All right. So why did the plain peanut hire a bodyguard? He didn't want to be assaulted.
Oh, that's funny.
You've had a few good ones, Ryan. I detect a bit of a trend with your jokes, eh? Short and sweet.
Just plain nonsense.
One thing, yeah.
Right.
All right,
All right, Sean, what do you got?
I think I've lost my joke. Hold on a sec.
Excuse me.
Let me try to remember it.
He's got a whole catalogue in front of him, hasn't he?
I think this is all part of it.
It's all part of the joke.
Hold on.
The suspense is killing us now.
The suspense. All right. You're going to have to cut out some time here. I was just
Oh,
told
no.
a sec. Shit, I had it. All right, I can't find it.
Where
I'm
the
gonna have
fuck
to
is my
remember it.
chat GPT? Fuck.
Yeah. What is the best joke, ChatGPT? Make you win. My precious. All right.
joke?
Was that the
You
joke?
nailed it, Sean. You nailed it. You win one yet.
Oh, shit. It's getting hot in here.
jeez.
Hold on a sec. Wait. It's coming. Oh, can't believe it's like I get it wrong. Oh, there we go. Okay.
It's the funniest blank stare I have ever seen.
All right, just doing the windscreen wipers here. So I wish I had hair. You won't see the sweat running off it. All right, cool. Serious face.
So you can't cut this out, eh?
No.
Oh, no way. Those uncomfortable
I'm editing
silences
this
are
version,
staying for sure. Excuse me.
What has 148 teeth and holds back a monster? My zipper.
Wow.
Come now, it's gross. Shit.
Oh,
Okay, we well listen. After like a dozen episodes, we're getting slightly better.
that's right.
Just make sure you go vote who's the best joke on YouTube and TikTok, and maybe we'll add you to our new bag soon, which we'll launch shortly. Cool. All right, Trev, and to end off things, tell us where can everybody get hold of you, and tell us a little bit more about your socials and all of that.
Well, me personally is Time to Node is my Twitter handle, which is quite appropriate. Our Telegram and our website, nodefi.io, is probably the best place to go. And there's a little link there to go straight into our Telegram. And yeah, we've got a bunch of groups in there for every project. So yeah, just hit us up. And Twitter as well, @Nodefi. I'd say that's the best place. We're really trying to grow our Twitter account, eh? I think that's where it's all at.
Great.
100%. All right, guys, and don't forget, we're going to drop you a link in the description. Click to that. It'll take us to our Telegram chat. We'll have a pinned notification that'll directly link to Nodefi to make your life easier. Go in there, just announce yourself, say how's it, ask some questions. The guys are very friendly in the chats. And enjoy and good luck.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot, Trevor. It's been a lot of fun.
Trev, thanks for joining us. Ciao.
The material and information presented in this recording are for entertainment purposes only. Do not misconstrue what you hear as investment or trading advice. Always do your own research. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by the guests on this recording are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Dad's Gone Crypto or its hosts.